people's eyes is Hideout. Hideout that I think is a little bit better on team games. Maybe 2v2s where the magic could shine through, which is what we've got here. Some of the Canadians, but it's not the bros. It's one of them, Puppy Paw and Magic. They're grinding it out in the ranked leaderboard ladders, and they came across 2 top 100 people on the rank charts. Let's see who's going to take the dub. Well, let me just get rid of those names because Marine Lord and BC are not in this one. No, these people go by their proper names, and I just realized I need to put my bindings back to observing, or I'm going to lose my crap. There we go. Apologies for that. So, looks like we have got a nice mixture, a cocktail going on of different civs here. No repeat pick. Everyone got something different. Magic, of course, is going to be playing as the Chinese. This guy really has come to love this civ. Used to be in a passive main, but I'm starting to wonder if this is going to be his new civ to just main all the time. Then to the north, his teammate is going to be Puppy Paw in the blue playing as the Roos. Roos that I have felt like they're pretty impactful on this map. I quite like them. I think you always get a lot of free bounty, especially in 2v2s. Your teammate will usually not take the deer stack straight away, especially if he's a Chinese player, so you get 2 deer stacks for free. Usually end up getting at least 3 as a result of that because you've got your nearby one as well. And then Coco's in the green will be playing as the French, so expect a lot of clashing back and forth here between heavy cavalry units. And, well, probably the boomer for this team, if they even want a boomer, would be H2220 on the English. One thing to keep in mind is compared to the team games you saw at the start of the year, even in 3v3s, this is true right now, there's less booming going on. There's less of this one person just techs up fast while the others grind it out in Feudal Age. I've been seeing a lot more of all 3 players in 3v3s grinding it out in that fight. And I think that's especially true in 2v2, so it's a lot harder to just be that guy that goes up. Maybe Hideout is the type of map where you can get away with it. You know, you've got this kind of funneled in point where you can maybe defend yourself with static emplacements. And, well, usually you won't have to face 2 players because in this type of format, it almost turns into a 1v1 on each side of the map. And yes, I do enjoy Songs of Conquest. Similar to Marley Trade, I love finding the ways of breaking all the mechanics in that game. Songs of Conquest definitely worth trying out for anyone who wants to try a Heroes of Might and Magic type game. Very different from HOM at the same time, though. But anyway, look at these openings. Kokos does instantly go out, or is it Kukos? I think it's Kukos. We'll call him Kukos. Does immediately go out onto the deer. Remember, one cool thing about the Francais is they only pay 25 wood for their drop-off building, so very efficient to set up like this with the mill and the mining camp early. Wouldn't be surprised if we also slap down a lumber camp soon. At which stage we'll be able to get the wood required to get into Wheelbarrow. In fact, he does have what he needs right... No, that's a lie. I'm looking at the wrong player. Yeah, he's actually shy by 3 wood. Looks like he finally got the remainder required there, right? No, wait, why has he got 32 wood? Did you chop a tree? Am I being dumb? 25 wood, 50 wood. The maths doesn't make sense. There must be a straggler tree. I'm blind. There must be. And he's done something. What's this voodoo magic? Probably my brain just having a fit right now. We are going to be going up the School of Cavalry, though, and because he doesn't have the extra free wood, he can't prep Wheelbarrow for when he completes the tech up. So instead, he'll get an optimal timing on the first night, but he won't be optimal with his economy at the same time. On the other side, we are going to see the Imperial Academy coming out from Magic. Just kind of a standard opening here. If you don't feel you're going to be pressured hard, you can get away with it. Barbican drop could be cool, but you wouldn't necessarily insulate yourself. You can see, if you actually look at the spawns, these guys, they're kind of pushed out. Sometimes Hideout seems to hide you deeper in these wood lines, but this type of one, it feels like you're spread wide, and although the Barbican maybe slows down the route for the Lombos, they'll still find a way of reaching around into your economy. Definitely could have got some value out of Barbican on the front side of the berries here, though. Would have protected all of his sheep and berries, would have allowed him to gather on the stone, pretty easy peas. And would have at least made sure that H220 spends several extra seconds walking around with his Lombos. Did we get a hunting cabin? Oh, I was about to say, did we get a hunting cabin? Look at that hunting cabin. 84 gold a minute. What tier do you think he is? What tier on the bounty do you think Puppy Paw is? I'll give you guys a few seconds to get your answers in. The answer may surprise you. 60 over here. He's tier 2 bounty. I'm calling it now. Tier 2. Tier 2 and he gets 84. That's pretty nuts, right? I've seen some clips. Some of the numbers I've seen generated on Hideout by Ruskies, man, maybe they'll make a resurgence off of water maps just for this one specifically. I remember Core sent me a picture of a 927 gold high trade house, which is absolutely bonkers. You basically, off that building alone, crack the threshold, right? Pretty nuts. Let's see who's going to get nutty when it comes to aggression here. Puppy Paw did push a lot of his deer close by. This is really important, by the way, because we talked about how the French can afford to drop a mill. If there's any civ that can't afford to, it's going to be the Roost. They'd have to pay 100 wood to drop a hunting cabin in here. It's not worthwhile. One cool thing you are going to see out of Puppy Paw is that the high trade house, he'll be able to constantly trade for what he needs off the back of just passive gold generation at this rate. He could easily just choose to buy more wood and build even more hunting cabins for this kind of regurgitated down-the-line repay. It seems like he's going to need that gold anyway. It's going to be Stable's archery range opening, and look at this. He's going to shift towards his Chinese ally here. A pretty cool idea, because if you go west, the French cavalry are just going to evade you. Meanwhile, on the east side, you've got this slow static comp of Lombos. You also have a teammate that probably needs defending. And the Chinese looks like the greediest civ in this game, so very likely they're going to try to bully him around. So Puppy Paw wants to make sure that can't occur. He will have to guard himself, though. These knights are not going to make it easy for him, especially considering they could wiggle their way in towards the wood line, and that's why you'll see a quick build-up of the wooden fortress. No hesitation. He even invests 7 villages to get it up quick enough. We are going to get the forward outpost now, but that's going to be scouted out by Magic. Magic, who is now going into the double stables. And good God, did he get enough sheep for it. Now, I was with this lad in Heidelberg. He definitely enjoyed the kebabs. That seems to hold true in AoE4 as well. He'll be very comfortable in terms of his food gains for a while. Enough to get quite the sizable chunk of horsemen out in the field. Something that H220, yeah, he hadn't built the prep the counter for yet. And, oh, man, this is tough. So, Magic went for a double stable drop. He could even supervise for quicker production rates. Meanwhile, H220 is now reacting with 1 Rax. Means he's going to be outmassed by horsemen. And it means that he won't get this staging point with the outpost up. Instead, he's now going to be the one on the defensive. I say that. He tries to move in aggressively, but this is always the nuisance. It's why, like, English versus Chinese for early raid can be a little bit of a tough one to crack, especially this type of layout. Is remember, the Chinese are the most efficient civ in the game at protecting their villages early on, as long as you don't forget to move them away from idling, because they build villages. Not villages, the unit, villages, as in this building here. It's a garrison point. It's a safe point. If you think about every civ in the game, between the Barbican and the villages that you can build, no civ gets more safe points for the eco early on than the Chinese. And the cool thing about this village is you can build it out near an exposed eco line, like a gold vein or a wood line. That means these Lombos, even Knights, can struggle to chip away at eco, which is really important when you consider that once you get Song Dynasty and maybe go for a second TCs, the Chinese, you should be able to afford losses. Yet, because of this building, you don't even have to pay out those losses in terms of villages. Everyone can be safe. A lot of passive time right now. They're just kind of letting Kukos maybe exhaust himself here. You can see they're trying to set up more of the hunting cabins. He's just desperate to get in, because when you pick French, you kind of want to drag this fuel out. You want to find some pressure. In some ways, you are dragging fuel out because you're forcing your opponent to invest in more military, right? That stops him from teching up. But right now, it feels like if he's not watching the Roost player could come over the top and go into his own economy. Instead, it's like the Roost player is going to be forced to react into his teammate's base. Magic now facing raids, but potential for a pinch here. Puppy Paw hesitant to take the fight because remember the charge would give the edge over, but nice turn there. He manipulated vision. Brilliant play, in fact. Kukos did not instantly charge back. Had he done so, he would have got the better side of the exchange. So decent damage done there. We'll shift away, and while that's happening, Horsemen have wrapped all the way around. Love this from Magic, because H220, or H2220, built up walls. So there's no easy raiding onto the wood lines here. Instead, they went for the gluttonous player. If you could name any civ that doesn't wall themselves in, doesn't build outposts in the game, who ranks highest on that? Who does that the least? It's the French, because the French are usually the tempo aggressor. Out of all the civs in the game, they are traditionally the one that is always pressuring instead. And someone says Mongols. Even Mongols, I'd say Mongols build outposts more than French. I think that's a fair statement. They have good reason to. But like, it's incredibly rare that I see a French player build outposts, especially in the first several minutes of the game. Even walls feels incredibly rare. Because it feels like when you pick the Civ, if you're not able to be the aggro, like, why have you picked it, right? Your biggest advantage is meant to be these rural knights. So unless you got hard counterpicked, you don't want to invest resources in building all these walls up. You want to funnel all your resources into maximizing your aggression. Horseman just once again, Magic just proving quite the nuisance. Outpost did finally go up for H220, but he just has no entry point right now. There's still enough Horsemen to keep him at bay. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, Magic, he sent up the Blacksmith, so probably we're going to get the Undermesh first so he can keep diving the TCs and not care about the Englishmen. Knights were forced to come home, and by doing so, that allowed Poppy Paw to move forward here. Might even think about going into a Blacksmiths and looking for Siege Engineering in the next 2 minutes. Notice they're just trying to buy time. They're drawing attention here because they know out of all the civs in this game right now, the Canadians have the economically strongest, right? They definitely, those are correct words. They have the Chinese. And they also have the Rus. Rus for the extra 20% would drop off and all these hunting cabins, as well as the Chinese's ability to just be at 1.5 TCs already, puts them ahead of what the English and French can do long term. So as long as they don't throw away an army, at 5-10 minutes down the line, Team 2's comp actually comes out ahead. And someone's asking if Magic's going to be part of Poppy Paw and Wham's team. I don't know. The rumor I heard was that it might be Kasva that was looking to join the duo. I don't know if that's locked in or not yet. I've heard 1 or 2 people say Magic's maybe just going to take a break. I don't know if that's true. I forgot to ask him while I was in here. So maybe it could be Magic. It could also be Kasva. Oh, this is tough. Kukos is leaving his base at possibly the worst time. These Knights are going to idle him out. They should start diving in. I mean, Poppy Paw is committing onto the TC. An ambitious choice here, but now we'll march past and look at the amount of villages that could be exposed. A small group of spearmen were left here by the English player. The H2220 is being ignored. Instead, they're going to wrap around. Knights now cycling in onto the villages. And I don't believe they have wheelbarrow. Yeah, they're way too slow here. Knights will quickly react, though. And that is going to force Poppy Paw to peel back. While he does that, archers are going to just trade out, take away all the spears. And after that, you might see a recycle back into the French lines here. Now remember, these guys, they didn't actually charge, so they're not really better knights than the feudal ones of the Rus. They're neck and neck. And because there's archers here, nothing else, that's just a full edge in favor of Poppy Paw. He just basically took on 1.2 players, right? Because there was spearmen here from the English, and he won. Great micro. Great bait there, drawing the attention back towards Kuko's base. And behind this, while the tech up comes through, Magic is now up in Castle Age. He's got a full army to throw away afterwards. And H2220 is trying to go for the full all-in. But that means that no one is defending the French player. Kukos is about to be full idled out. He has no army. He has nothing to assist with and nothing to gather with. He's out of this game. Now the Ram all in. I mean, honestly, if this doesn't work, you've got nothing left in the chamber. H2220 has no scalability. In fact, he kind of left his Rams a bit exposed here. It's a lot of horsemen to contest with, and I'm just not sure if there's going to be good enough. Chuginu are going to garrison. Now, this is not going to be a quick kill on the Barbican, actually. And a Nest of Bees. Oh, God, 1 Nest of Bees. Lombos are going to begin to dive. Nest of Bees now moving out. Keep in mind, H220, he only just got a whiff of this. Nest of Bees could just end this here. Barbican down to half HP. And he realizes, Magic says, I don't need to go fast. You do. H220 doesn't even try. GG will get called, and a quick victory for the Canadians. That was some sexy play, actually. Like, I like the patience coming out. I love the way that Poppy Paw kind of played this mediator between both sides of the map and was waiting for the point at which they show a weakness. Love the fact that he didn't immediately rush into the base. He waited until he had enough archers and knights for it to look like he was going to threaten Rams. I don't think he had even got siege engineering at the end of that game, but it looks like he's going to go for it, right? It looks like he's going to build Rams right outside the French base, and that forces Kukos to come back to defend when he wants to be all-inning with his teammate onto Magic's base. Just great read and great manipulation of the flow of hideout for them to come out ahead.